here's what's happening at Ewetopia Farms today. Lambing day is very fast approaching now. Those udders will start to tighten as they engorge with milk. As time goes on, we'll show you what a tight udder looks like. If there's going to be problems, you're going to start seeing it now. Will a Dorset be the first to give a lamb, or will it be a Suffolk? Some people would say, why aren't you breeding these ewes? So let's get started. Here's the rodent patrol. This is Heath Ledger here, who always eats on the ledge. And everyone's doing good. Well, lambing day is very fast approaching now. So I thought we'd have a quick look at the ewes, see how they're progressing. We're about a week away, but healthy lambs can come 3 days early, so we're being ever vigilant. And I'm in the Dorset pen right now, so the sheep that are in this main barn here, and same on the window in the other side, they were all bred at the same time, meaning that the rams were put in, and we did not use cedars or hormones or anything to artificially get them pregnant. So we don't know exactly when they'll lamb, but we do know the breeding dates and have a window of when they could be born. So if you're looking for imminent pregnancies, of course you're going to want to see udder growth and development. And as you can see there, that ewe has an udder. That one has one too, but it's really small. This one's is much more full. I can see an udder on this one, smaller. So all these ones with bigger udders are going to be the ones that will be lambing sooner. It's not always the case. Sometimes some small udders, they fool you, but usually, in general, that's what you're looking for, udder development. Right now, because they are like a week away or more, the udders we see are just normal udders. You can tell they're a little bit soft, but they're developing nicely, nice and even. As they get closer to their actual due date, those udders will start to tighten as they engorge with milk. They might go a darker shade of pink if you have white sheep. You can see a girl up there. I'm guessing she'll be one of the first ones. We have a lot of first timers in this group. But another thing you'll be looking for when pregnancies are imminent is for their vulva to get a deeper shade of pink, like this one here. And not only that, it will start to get loose. We call it rosy or floppy. It will just engorge with blood, and that's a very, very sure sign that the sheep are going to be coming in shortly, because that's the ewe's body loosening the muscles and preparing for the lamb to have an easy delivery. So you can see on her, she's starting to go rosy. I would expect her to be among the first to have lambs. But I'm seeing udders on pretty well everyone of various sizes, except for maybe this one here. I don't see an udder yet. If they have more wool, the udder development will be harder to see. But these guys, they have wool, but not enough to be an issue. I see a couple of there that I don't see udders either, those two bigger ones. Now we did have a few in here that are having their second chance. They didn't lamb last year, If those two are them, they won't be staying on for another year. We will assume that they have some kind of issue and they will become cull sheep. But we usually give our sheep 2 tries. And you can see these two definitely have good udder development. The one beside her does, the one beside. The one by the drinker, I'm not seeing anything, but the one beside her I do. This one with the kind of dirty bum, it's not manure, it looks actually like pee. I don't see an udder. Sometimes when you see signs like that, the ewe is a hermaphrodite. It doesn't have all her organs properly developed. She's got a little bit of both. And if she happens to be one that doesn't have a lamb, we'll have a very close look at her. But I would guess that that's what her issue is. It happens sometimes. We don't want to see anybody developing udders too soon before lambing, because that can often lead to overgrown udders that are also a cull thing, because a big udder doesn't necessarily have more milk, but it's a bad trait because those udders over time will drag to the point where they go to the floor where the lambs can't nurse. They get dirty. They actually can get their nipples stepped on, like all kinds of strange things. You don't want, we call them hang bags, in your flock. These girls all look like they're developing fine. This one, second one in, has a really nice bag already. We call them bags or udders, same thing. We'll head over and have a look at Luther's group on the other side. Hi, girls. You look all very, very healthy right now. Good girls. Months prior to lambing, all these ewes were given vaccines that prevent clostridial diseases. It's a yearly booster for the ewes, but the reason it's given prior to lambing is that shot also gives immunity as it's passed through the mother's milk onto the lambs. And that immunity, along with the colostrum, helps protect the lambs from any inherent sheep diseases till they're about 2 to 3 months old. And at that point, you're going to start to vaccinate your lambs as well. And the lambs will get a booster shot a month after the first one. We usually vaccinate our lambs once all the cull lambs have gone to market, and we just vaccinate the ones that we're keeping and selling as breeding stock. So we're in Luther's group. Same thing here. You can see udders developing in here. And there's again what we're looking for, like when I'm talking about the rosy vulva. You can see she's getting a little more pronounced on the back end. Her udder is still loose. You can kind of see it's loose. As time goes on, we'll show you what a tight udder looks like. But these guys are developing, but it's not like they're going to have a lamb in the next couple of days. All these ewes were also treated for lice when we were vaccinating them, because as you can see on this ewe, they were itching and having some wool loss, so we treated them for that also. And they got 2 doses of that, and nobody's itching anymore. So that was a good job done. And now when the lambs are born, the lambs won't pick up any lice from their moms either. But I see lots of udders in Luther's group as well. We're really looking forward to seeing Luther's lambs, because We really like him. And you see with Suffolk's, the udder, although it's got a pink tinge, it also has a kind of brownish, blackish hue to it as well. That's because of the Suffolks are obviously a little darker skinned than the Dorsets. They're all eating well. Nobody's lagging back at the feeder. Everybody looks bright-eyed. Nobody's displaying any discomfort or issues whatsoever. And like I've mentioned many times, if there's going to be problems, you're going to start seeing it now, right before lambing. I guess maybe we can do a little survey or a little game. And in the comments, you guys can write down which group is going to lamb first, like which sheep from which group. So will a Dorset be the first to give a lamb, or will it be a Suffolk? It's always a guess. They all went in at the same time. Of course, the other signs are the big bellies that are evident on all these girls. It's the same thing in this barn. All these sheep went in at the same time, and all of them had the rams removed at the same time. So this group is all our first batch of sheep to lamb. Hi, how you feeling? Arnie fed them earlier, so some of them are still up eating, but I can see some are starting to lay down. What sheep do is they eat, and then to digest the food, they lay down and start to chew their cud. Oh, and one was outside actually, because today is a day where the temperature is soared and all our snow melted. But we're going into a major deep freeze again in a couple of days. Typical weather again. Typical weather being atypical. And so at this stage in pregnancy, you are looking for ewes that lag back in case there's issues. And a ewe not acting the same as the others is one you want to focus on and watch. And that ewe at the back, she went down and lay down first. So if a sheep is laying down and I didn't see it eating at the trough, what I would be looking for to determine if there's a possible issue is to see if she's chewing her cud. When I walked by her earlier, she got up and I saw that she has a really big udder. I'm imagining she'll be one of the first to lamb, but she is chewing her cud. So chewing your cud is a sign of health. You're digesting, you're relaxing, everything's working fine. If you see a sheep off to the side and you stand and watch for 5 minutes and she's laying down, you are going to be looking for the chewing of the cud. If she's not chewing her cud, you want to keep an eye on that sheep and monitor her in case there's some kind of issue. As you've seen with other videos, I'm sure ewes can get ketosis and all kinds of other diseases, abortions and stuff, and this is like when it happens. We rarely have problems like that, like rare. I can't even remember how many years it's been since we've had a ewe with issues like that. So knock on wood, we don't have any this year either. No matter what, it is a rare occurrence. If they're getting a good balanced diet, exercise, their minerals and stuff, you shouldn't have those issues, especially if you're culling your sheep correctly and not putting an overly large amount of stress on them. I guess these guys finished their food at their normal feed station and have moved on to the next one. Hi, pussycats. Hi. That little baby one is so cute. So if any of this information is helpful to you or you enjoy, excuse me, learning about things like the educational segments we have on our videos, please be sure to press the like button and subscribe. I know people say it all the time that it really helps your channel, but it does, because if you don't do that, YouTube has no way of knowing that these are the types of videos you like, and they won't recommend our videos to you, and they won't recommend them to others either. Hope you like it. Press that like button. Really appreciate it. Let's get on to chores. Arnie's just feeding the wrapped hay. And because the snow melted, we're back into mud again. But to be honest, if this was winter, I'd be very happy. It's a plague.
Push that stuff out, probably.
Yeah. Hi, girlies. They've had some old hay in here for a couple of days now. So to keep it fresh, we're going to toss that out for bedding, which, to be fair, this barn needs some bedding right now. So nothing gets wasted. And Arnie's going to bring them in a fresh new bale. Aren't you guys bright-eyed and bushy-tailed? Hi. Hi there. Oh my goodness, you're lovely. Nice pink eyes. We want to see that because these sheep were not dewormed this year. Hard to believe. No worm issues. And these guys were out on pasture. And because we are having such an unusual warm spell right now, I'm going to go around the coveralls as I check their salt and minerals and make sure their drinkers are clean. And I'm going to start to crack open all the curtains to air it out, let the sunshine in more, and let them enjoy this nice weather while it's here. So Arnie just finished rolling out a bale for our replacement ewe lambs. These ewes here, some of them were born last January, and there are even some here that were born in May. So we got a pretty wide range of ages. And some people would say, why aren't you breeding these ewes? And thinking that maybe we're a little crazy or stupid, because here's a money-making potential. But although it may seem on the surface that we don't put much thought into things sometimes, a lot of thought went into this. So, technically, the ones that are like 10 months old and above, you could definitely breed them and have lambs with them. They'd be lambing in the late summer or late spring, I guess. However, if you've been watching our videos for any amount of time, you'll know that that's Arnie's busiest season. He's cropping at that time of year. So we don't like lambing them because, for one, we're too busy doing other things on the farm then. Two, those are the hottest months of the year. And if you've seen our stragglers and stuff grow, we have lambed later and tried all these things out, but lambs born in the summer, most farmers will tell you, especially if they live in hotter climates, don't grow as well and don't thrive the way they do lambing in the winter or early spring. And that's because both the lambs and the moms are hot. They're being bothered by flies and bugs and stuff. So what they tend to do is lay down and not want to eat. It's kind of like you when you're hot and stuff in the summer. You like to lay down and be lazy and eat when maybe in the evening. So therefore you're not going to grow as well. So therefore your lambs aren't, you're going to have them longer, have to feed them longer, and bring them to market when the majority of other lambs are hitting the market. So your lambs inevitably will make less money for you. However, if we weren't cropping and stuff, and we wanted to make a little bit of extra money and didn't mind that the sheep took longer to grow and maybe weren't as good as the earlier lambs, we would have nothing against it. But we're also breeding stock, and we want the sheep to be the best possible sheep they can be, and that means making sure that they're born in the best conditions, when they're most likely to grow, when they're most likely to do well. And that will form a better sheep, which will form a better ewe and a better ram for future breeding. Now, another reason, though, that we don't prefer to breed lambs like between 6 months and a year is because they're still growing then. So like the ones that were born in May, I would, even if they looked big enough, because a lot of people say, well, they weigh 120 pounds, they're ready to breed. I totally don't subscribe to that view, because it has to do with age. Just because you are a big baby, it doesn't mean you're more mature. It just means you're big. Arnie can attest to that because he was a monster child, and he was always the biggest in his class, but he definitely wasn't the most mature in his class. So if you are going to breed lambs, you really want to make sure you're a very good feeder. If you want the ewe to do well and grow to her potential still, because she is still growing, and if you want the lambs to develop well as well. 1 year, people were on my back about not breeding my lambs, so I bred them 1 year. And that was my worst year ever. Not because the moms weren't good. They were all good moms. They all had their lambs and all nursed them. But when I look back at all my sheep over the years, the ones born that year, like the ones having lambs that year, were the smallest of my sheep. They just didn't develop on the way the ones who we waited for developed. So if you're breeding stock or keeping replacement ewes, even like as a commercial breeder, to me, our philosophy is you always want your sheep the best they can be, because if they're the best they can be, they're going to produce better for you in the long term. It's not always about short-term gain. Once you get into that rotation and always have a group of replacement ewes up and coming, it flows. It's not like it hurts your money situation. It just goes with the flow.
Well, in our situation, if we breed these guys in January, in January, if you breed them in January, they're going to have lambs probably around June, okay? And then if they have lambs at June, they stay with the mothers for 100 days. So June, you got June, July, August, September. Then you have to dry the ewe up. If we bred these guys, we'd have a pretty difficult time getting them back onto the fall group again.
To our schedule.
So then they're going to be kind of an odd group, and they're going to be spread. And I don't want that. I want to breed in the fall, lambs after Christmas, and over with. I just don't need that. I mean, I want to go out and have a beer and a barbecue in the summertime.
So it's not a criticism about how other people do it, but this is the way we like it. And it works really well for us. And I think it works well for the sheep too.